I started my new job as a research assistant in the beginning of January, so it's only been 1 month. But so far, I have been feeling very, very welcomed into this research community and this project that I'm working in, Sami Polity, which is focusing on Sami political traditions and modern human studies and multi-species studies. And the research team is only Sami researchers. And so I'm very grateful and happy to be a part of this team. Such amazing researchers and experts in their own areas. So I am certain that this year will be very, very important in regards of my own learning on this path to become a Sami real researcher myself, which is my dream. And currently, I'm working on a literature review that we're going to compose this spring on the Sami political thought, indigenous political thought, just to go through what there is in regards of traditional knowledge that would have something to contribute to Western political theory. So I'm very happy, I'm very grateful, and it's very inspiring. And this year is going to be great now that this spring is starting and I'm starting to do more and more. Of course, I'm doing like these very mundane daily tasks also, but that are a part of the work as a researcher. But I really enjoy all of it. So far so good, I would say. Learning Tavvi-Saame kielä, Northern Sami, has been an emotional journey for me because I started taking back our language because my family was assimilated and my grandfather didn't pass down the language to my mother. So my mother hasn't spoken Northern Sami to me when I've been a child. So I started this process of taking back the language 5 years ago, and I've been slowly learning the basics, and also I've taken a few courses, and it has been it has been very emotional in a way because I feel like the more I learn the language, it strengthens my own Sami identity. It opens up the culture in a whole new way because languages, you could say that they work as a key to understanding cultures from more thoroughly and to the core. And even though I'm feeling quite shy using Northern Sami in social situations, I feel like I'm getting more confident using it as time passes. And I can feel that also taking back the language is a very decolonizing process also because it's taking back something that has been taken away from your family against their will. So it's a very healing process, and I've been very happy to see that now that I've started using the language, not only does my family support me, my friends and my community support me, and they give me the sense of feeling that even if I don't speak Northern Sami fluently, it still it doesn't make me any less of a Sami, and it really is a healing feeling. Yeah, it wasn't maybe dreaming, but I do think out loud in my mind in Northern Sami multiple times a day. I'm forming these sentences like how would I say this in Northern Sami? So I would say that I'm practicing in my mind all the time. And when I think of a word that I don't know, I go to Nähtetikisäänit, which is it's a website dictionary. So I check it every time. But I do go through these phrases in my mind, especially emotional ones, that how would I express this in Northern Sami? And sometimes I write it down and I get inspiration. For example, last weekend I was in Inari at the Indigenous Film Festival and I got all these emotions from seeing these films, and it inspired me to write a letter to my Matta Rahku, my great grandmother who has passed away. In my notes app in my phone in Northern Sami, I started writing a letter to her, how much I miss her and how I would love for her to be here and teach me this language and teach me to understand things that I still don't know. So that's what makes it very personal and emotional also. Well, the reaction is very encouraging, and they they give me this validation also. If I'm using it, they might, after the conversation, if we are, for example, in a group, and then someone asks me, Kossunlehti Eeret, where are you from? And then I tell them, and after the conversation, my friend would turn to me and say that you spoke so well that you should keep going. And for example, this weekend at the festival, my friends, I speak to them a little, but they know that I'm not so fluent. And then they speak to me in Northern Sami, and then I reply them if I can. But they are very understanding and warm about if I change to Finnish and then back to Northern Sami. So the languages are supporting each other, filling the conversation. And I do understand better than I speak. So I don't have to even say it out loud to everyone that you can speak Northern Sami to me, and I will ask if I don't understand anything, because I think that's also a part that is built inside of us, that when we get together in these communities and gatherings, you feel more comfortable using the language, and it becomes more natural to you. So I also, in a reciprocity, I also encourage my friends and family to speak it to me, even though I can't maybe respond to them in the same language, but I still want to use the words and keep the conversation going. Oh yes, many people. Yeah, many of my friends. So it's very common that the Sami languages haven't passed down in families because of this aggressive assimilation. And lots of my friends have started studying Northern Sami in their late age. So it's not, it's, it's very common that you start taking back the language. And many of my friends have also gone to this Saamelaisalueen koulutuskeskus, Saakki, that is in Inari. It's a school where you can go and study Northern Sami for 1 or 2 years. And many of my friends have gone there and spent 1 year or 2 years learning the language. And then after their studies, they are more confident and fluent and they start using it more. And I can also say that it has been my plan B always, that if if I have a pause in my career at some point, I will also go there and study the language, because you are more immersed in the cultural environment and also by the people and the language, and you start using it daily. So then it's a whole new learning process. It's very empowering, of course, and it's such a strong thing to do, because it's not, you can never take it for granted that some person decides to heal the generational trauma in their family, because it's not only learning the language, it's also taking back the culture and the identity that has been tried to wash away from us by this residential school system. So I have such huge admiration for every single Indigenous person who decides to take this route of decolonizing and taking back the culture and language, because it's not an easy road. It's not easy to unpack the generational trauma load that you have. And of course, every person's path is very personal. So it might be easier for someone, but for someone it might be a very mentally exhausting. I have such huge love for every Indigenous person who decides to take this path. Meeting other Indigenous peoples in academia is always such a power moment because we have been excluded in our societies and as well in Western academia for so long that to see Indigenous researchers flourish and take a place in this Western academia field is such a empowering moment, I would say. And to see this shift also that for so long our traditional knowledge has been excluded in academia as something very soft and not credible, not hard science that can be seen as something rich or something that contributes to Western theories. But there is a huge paradigm shift and there is such huge potential also in traditional knowledge and bringing it together with Western knowledge that we're seeing that we can learn about these modern questions and threats like climate change and all things related. So when I meet Indigenous scholars, it's a very healing moment also because we have such we have the same experiences from assimilation and racism and exclusion. And we have so similar experiences with residential schools and even cultural genocide. So sharing these experiences and stories and feelings and thoughts in these things is always so healing and empowering. So it's my favorite thing when I go to these academic things and meetings and congresses. It's always my favorite part meeting Indigenous scholars around the world and getting to know and share our feelings and stories. And it's always the best part of this whole thing. Going to these events, Indigenous events like Jais Itja and Skapmakovat, which are Indigenous music and film festivals, mean everything to me because the sense of community is what makes you Indigenous. And your friends and family and kin, and they're just the ones who fill your heart and make you feel like you belong somewhere. So community is everything to me. Not only my own Indigenous community, but all Indigenous people around the world. We are one community.